what is the major problem with fantasy and sci-fi adaptations?
Yeah.
And the main problem with it is not enough of them are musicals.
Wait a second. Dune would be a perfect musical. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Welcome everyone to the Two to Realm podcast. My name is Richard.
My name is Austin. No, that was real bad. Not that
I'll
could do
be honest, that is better than how I normally hear you sing.
Go grease lightning, singing in the rain.
Tell, today is about musicals.
Baby, it's cold. Okay, I'll just shut up. This is gonna be fun. I love hearing people sing other than me.
Yeah,
it's great.
Now I gotta say, for this idea, I was thinking to myself, what is the major problem with fantasy and sci-fi adaptations?
Yeah.
And the main problem with it is not enough of them are musicals.
They all fail.
They all fail.
Rings of Power, if they just broke out in song.
If they broke out in song, it would be better.
They started going like, what's that shark song? It's like the sharks and the jets. When you're a jet, all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day. Yeah. The West Side Story, something like that.
West Side Story, yeah. There's too bad.
I love musicals.
Musicals
Sing
are great.
Street. Drive it like you stole. I'm going to have to shut up at some point. I swear. Oh, I love it. You're going to have some clips for us?
Yes, I got some clips. So, okay, off the bat, is it a funny idea? Yes. But I think there's a nugget of truth to it that I want to more explain out in detail.
Yeah.
So, first off is what makes musicals actually unique. What's the unique thing about them? What do they bring to the table as a medium? And it mainly brings three things. The most important is that you can express dialogue, internal dialogue, without a stupid voiceover. Because what most movies do, if they have to express internal thoughts and they're not allowed to come through regular dialogue, it's Morgan Freeman in the background. And normally you can't they don't have enough money for Morgan Freeman, so they get some nobody to narrate over the top. And that's the lamest way to actually get across someone's internal dialogue.
I think it was Stephen King. I'm not going to put this in Stephen King's mouth because it probably wasn't, but it was some big author said the toughest thing about adaptations are when you're reading a book, you have all those internal dialogue lines.
Exactly.
That they're saying to themselves, you cannot replicate that on screen.
Yeah.
And then musicals.
Yeah, you get to do that. It's the
perfect adaptation.
So to kind of show an example of, it's a really classic example of how they do internal dialogue that didn't actually take place, but you get what they were thinking, is from Baby, It's Cold Outside. So I'm going to show you this quick clip here.
And this is essentially showing why musicals you're saying they're perfect for adaptations for books.
Exactly. And
this was one of your midnight 1 a.m. things. He said, Austin, I got a video idea.
I got an idea.
I'm here for it. So this is Baby, It's Cold Outside.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, for an evening that started out so badly, it has definite possibilities. No. Before you drink, you must always say salute.
They just dress better back then. I'm sorry. I love.
Are you saying that because you've got a button up and I'm hearing sweats all the time? Yeah,
that's part of it.
I saw the sign. But look, it's just you're having dialogue.
This scene, they start on the couch.
They're on the couch. Okay.
Yes?
Little back and forth,
Baby, it's cold outside.
and now we go into the song.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Now, the important part about this is not actually happening.
Yep.
This is what each of them are thinking. That's their internal dialogue.
They're paused on the couch right now from that conversation.
Exactly. There's still the continued small talk. The little she's hesitant. She's nervous about what people will think. She wants to stay, but she's nervous about what society will think of her. And he's trying to convince her. And the excuse is, baby, it's cold outside.
Yep.
But then by the end of the song, the reason why you know that this song goes...
This is imagine in a book, right? You're saying so in a book,
and they're back. They go right back to the couch, and so that's how you know in a musical that song didn't actually happen. That didn't actually happen in reality. That was all in their head.
Like in a book where the internal italics dialogue they didn't say it out loud.
Yes,
they didn't say that to the other person.
Is this a hard rule? No, musicals can kind of play around with it, but it's used to be one of the examples of what they can do. Okay. And an example of something that probably could use it is Dune. Dune is all in your head. Watching the movie, you have to understand all this internal dialogue just from like facial cues. Because most of the book, you're inside every character's head, and they're all having an internal dialogue and conversation.
This is a video you more so planned, and it's my job to keep you off track.
Yes.
As it is with you when I plan a video. I need to focus in on Dune for just 1 second and say, Timothée Chalamet, I have beef.
You have beef?
I have beef.
Does he have beef with you?
He doesn't know me. But because you're saying the facial expressions aren't that supposed to reveal the inner dialogue, something about Timothy's look in Dune, just the gazing off into the corner, attacked a part of my childhood.
It did?
Yeah.
How? How does that attack your childhood?
Just because I thought growing up, people like him, there's something wrong with that guy. Just like he never had trouble in life. It's just when he would look out in the distance, I went, yeah, he went to an artsy school. And, this is all probably wrong. He's probably a great guy. But I don't like it.
You know what? It's kind of the same thing with me and, who's the invisible guy?
Invisible guy. Oh, John Cena.
John Cena. I just don't like John Cena. Probably a nice guy, but I reserve the personal dislike of another individual. And there's no real reason. Yeah. I just don't like him.
It's like, Timothy could come from a fragile ego I have, like he's good looking, he's an actor, all that stuff. But at the same time, like Zac Efron's great. Ryan Gosling's great. It's something about Timothée Chalamet in particular. Yeah. That gets me going. But that's a side tangent.
To get back on topic.
Yeah.
Something else that musicals can really offer that movies have a hard time to doing is the dynamic energy. Oh. Energy tends to be where in a movie you have to lay it tense. It takes a lot of groundwork to go from a low energy moment to a high energy moment.
Yeah.
Musicals got the easy way out. You just start a song and it's so much more exciting and it's more fun. You could take a lame moment and make it really fun. That shouldn't be that fun. Anyway, so something like with Sing Street.
Oh, yes. What a movie.
It's just kind of like 50s dancing.
Where this lame moment of a rehearsal where they kind of all suck. It's just dumb high school song.
Yep.
Can we try some now, actually?
They're snapping.
In many ways, looking pathetic. And it's like,
Yeah, maybe do a few twirls.
Oh, it's sad.
Just do what's natural. Make it as
Your
natural
classic
as possible.
80s. This was made in 2016, but 80s is trope.
But then you get to see a little bit more into what is he thinking about when he's playing the whole movie's going by and what's in his head. Focusing on the door, and in a movie, or in a book, I mean, you get to see tell you what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Movie, hard to do, but this isn't happening, but it's in his head. It's great.
God, I love musicals.
To stand the way that I turn myself around.
So good. So it's the energy immediately goes from kind of awkward teenage, they're snapping, going around, and bam, full song.
You get to see how he sees it. What's in his mind. So this whole scene is not real, but it's in his mind and how he sees it.
Right.
And what he wants to see, really.
God.
Hard to do that without that kind of musical trope. Oof.
Angel calling, this is your life.
So cool.
This is just going to be an episode of us fooling around.
It is. It's a fool around episode. The last thing that older musicals tend to do.
So break down the first one is that it can show internal dialogue. Second is change the energy.
Yep. And then lastly is it shows character growth through typically a reprise. So one of the tropes with I would say actually most musicals is you kind of have a beginning song, more of their anthem, the chorus tune, if you'd say.
Yeah.
And it means one thing at the beginning of the musical, and by the end there's a reprise, which typically it's the same tune with slightly different lyrics, and now the characters see it through a different lens.
Oh my goodness.
And so it just feels cathartic by the end of the music is basically like beating you over the head of this is what character learned.
Yes.
This is the character growth. Makes it pretty simple to understand and what they're thinking.
Before you play the clip, I have a great example of
Okay.
this. And I wish I would have told you before this to have the clip ready. But the movie Coco, have you seen Coco?
I have not.
Oh my God, Rich.
You gotta see Coco.
I won't spoil Coco.
I have been spoiled.
But I won't spoil the audience of Coco.
Okay.
The only thing I'll say is the general idea of it's a Pixar film, so it has music in it, of course. There's a song that's played that the same lyrics with a different tempo and everything, and it's very much this very braggadocious song. And you look at it in one sort of light, but by the end of the film, the song for what it was supposed to be played, and I won't say how it gets there or anything, it's played completely differently, and the message of the entire song is different.
Oh, yeah.
Same words, same everything. You slow the words down, you slow the tempo, and it makes you cry. It's so well done. Okay, then you had an example for this of where it changes throughout the story.
So in Oklahoma, so this is a musical, basically two people fall in love.
Okay.
The talk is that you're stuck on
This one,
me.
of course, they start talking. This is what actually happens, and it goes into the song of what's not actually happening, what they're thinking.
Why do they think up stories that link my name with yours?
Why do the neighbors gossip all day behind their doors?
I know a way to prove what they say is quite untrue. Here is the gist, a practical list of don'ts for you. Don't throw.
I haven't seen this one.
It's a good musical.
Don't
Also, man, what a great looking guy. Like, the woman's beautiful as well. But I'm just saying, like, my God, that guy is handsome.
He is good looking guy.
That was my first thought. Like, looking at the two of them.
Way better than Timothy Chalamet. Oh, Timothy can go.
I know that's true.
I want to flick him. Not this guy, Timothy.
Your jokes.
Don't
But we did miss a
Crucial part there.
yeah.
Yeah.
my jokes too much.
My bad. I had to rewind there for
Yeah,
a
it's
second
okay.
here.
People will say we're in love.
So the heart of the tune is basically, what are people going to... We spend all this time together, people will say that we're in love. And they're kind of denying it themselves. It's that little playful game.
Okay.
And that's the song. The name of the song is People Will Say We're in Love. Then, by the end, when he actually asks her to marry him.
Okay, so before we play here, this is the end of Oklahoma.
I want him to know that Miss Laurie Williams is my girl.
Really?
And she went and got me to ask her to marry me.
They'll hear you all the way to Catoozy.
Let 'em. Let people say we're in love.
So again, the same song, but the new little change, let people say we're in love.
Got it.
Acceptance and, don't care about what other people will think of us.
Right. Okay. And then question for you, Rich. End of Oklahoma here, the message is that we're saying what we said earlier in the film. We were saying dialogue, we were singing the song, and now we're looking at it in a new light. We're kind of accepting.
Well, it's the easy way to show character growth and the actual message of a story. Where books and movies, they kind of have to really show it through subtleties. Musicals, you just sing the song. It's so simple of play one song in the beginning, make slight change at the end and go, oh, look at that. That was the message. It's so easy and it comes across so well.
That is awesome.
This is almost like telling story on easy mode of beat people over the head.
But it's okay.
Imagine if you just held a sign up in the movie of this is message of movie. That's what a musical does. A big old flag of this is the message. Pay attention.
I guess that's why kids' movies also work really well with music and musicals.
Sure.
Think about all the kid shows we watched, or of course you have Red's angry at you.
Yeah.
Red, our animal, just fell off the tree. But think of all the kids stuff we watched. It's always in music form. And I guess it's easier to get across the message of you look at the music by the end and it has a message right there. It's singing you, this is what we learned the whole time. That's also disappointing. This video will get demonetized because I sang earlier in the video. And
you sang so well that it's going to pick up on it.
Yeah, forget the actual clips we're playing. But I think mine was too close to what the actual actors and actresses sang.
Yeah.
So we're not going to make money off this one.
And that makes sense to me.
But you know how we would make money, Rich?
If you go ahead, click down below to the Patreon and support us.
How twisted are these subtle like I don't know, these transitions getting into the Patreon.
It's just one of us forgets, and then eventually the other reminds us.
It comes in midway through the video sometimes.
We realize like we actually do have to selfless promotion all there.
Selfless.
Yeah, selfless. It's for the fans.
So
It's for their benefit.
you're trying to say self-promo, but it's selfless. It's you
No,
give us money and
See, I've learned whenever you make a mistake, you don't acknowledge. You
Double
push,
down.
You double down. That's
Double
how
down.
you work. That's how it all happens.
as silly as that is, the 3 points you've made so far are actually good points. There's actual. I hope some people are getting value here. Of the adaptation into music form does 3 things. You say, and to go over those 3 things first, it makes it so that you can have internal dialogue on screen.
Yeah.
The second one you had,
Was basically the energy. You can do a dramatic change in energy where a movie, it's harder to do.
Right.
Like, of course you can in movies, but for scenes that generally don't have a lot of action and a lot of tension, it's hard to do the quiet, subtle, high energy scenes.
yeah,
Musicals, boom, put a music. Like there's musical about basically this interaction between woman and man, and he gifts her a pineapple.
what?
It's her first like gift from him,
Okay,
and they do a whole song about it.
yeah,
The thing is, getting a pineapple is not very exciting. It's a pineapple, but to her it means a lot because it's the first gift she has received, and this shows this level of affection and like,
Neat.
the start of this romantic journey. And so to her, it's very exciting, and so the musical should represent that with a big bombastic song.
ah,
A movie would kind of just show like her being excited with her face. That's not enough.
right. Because you could have a 2-second scene of just, thank you for this pineapple.
And it seems weird where that's inside of her. She's not going to like express it outwardly. It's the quiet, like what she's thinking. She's not going to like show that in a movie.
Whereas in the book, there could be paragraphs upon paragraphs of no one's ever done this for me before.
Yeah.
No one's like, I can't believe this is why it's a big deal. And it emphasizes those points. And the third point you made is that it's really easy to tell the message, to show the message.
Yeah.
To sing the message, however you want to put it, right?
Yeah. Now, even further on, I want to give like an example that I can't like just read out the text because it's a long, long scene.
Oh boy.
But I will describe it for Pete. This is not really a spoiler, but it takes place in Dune. If you don't want to know anything about anything in Dune, skip forward ahead. But near the beginning of Dune, the book, there is a dinner scene with Paul Atreides, his family, and other different noble people all at this big long dinner scene.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is this political tit for tat. There's this whole battle going on. And the book shows you the thoughts in each of the dinner guests' head.
Oh.
Not just your main POV, which is trouble enough, but everyone at the dinner table, you hear their inner thoughts and what they're saying out loud. And what they're saying out loud doesn't always match what they're thinking inside. So this jumblehead, it's so confusing to me.
Wait a second. Dune would be a perfect musical. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That would be a perfect
Can you-
musical
no,
scene at
no.
a dinner table.
Exactly. No,
And they
imagine
start
the whole
singing their internal dialogue.
Every time that they're actually saying something, it's spoken. Every time they're thinking something, it's sung. And that would be able to actually get across so
You
well.
actually have a point to this video. That's genius.
Now, does it ruin the tone? Maybe. It maybe ruins the tone. I don't know.
Dennis, director of Dune, get on it. Dune Part 2, breaking the dance.
But thing is, in the movie, they just cut the whole scene.
yeah.
Because you can't do that scene. It's impossible on film. There's no way you could do that. And if you do, there's no way it has any meaning, because then it's just a stupid dinner scene. And like the small talk means nothing.
It's just you looking at Timothy some more. Which
Exactly.
pisses me off. It's just-
So instead, you should make that scene a musical.
okay.
That's one of those examples of it can only work in a book or in a musical. I don't think you have Morgan Freeman doing it, but it doesn't work.
It's so strange because I love Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And he's like basically the same as Timothy. It's like that young boy. I'm
You
just,
and your Timothy Chalamet.
you make a really good point. So that Dune scene, and I'm sure Dune has a lot of that in the book where it's internal dialogue, and that was one of the tougher parts of adapting it to the screen is how do you adapt a book like that? How do you adapt sci-fi books?
Most of the fun of the book is through internal dialogue. I think that's the biggest challenge that the movie has.
To give an example of a fantasy book that was turned into a film, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, works perfectly. I mean, to be fair, I think the entire book is supposed to be like in her head, in her thoughts, so it is whimsical in that sense. But yes, that
Works
is
very well.
exactly it.
Oh, wow. And it just goes to show why the Lord of the Rings series did have some songs, like were the Hobbits, but they were actual songs from the book, and maybe could have doubled down on that.
Well, thing is, you actually use those moments. But he uses it Tolkien uses that moment in the books and the movies to have more internal dialogue. So in The Hobbit, you have the Misty Song of the Misty Mountains is basically a song about adventure, treasure seeking, all this stuff. And at that same time, that is what Bilbo's thinking. Bilbo is tempted by treasure seeking. So while they're singing the song, that's basically what Bilbo is also thinking, of thinking of the treasure and comparing his life of leisure and safety.
He's like, no adventures for me. But then...
And then you start singing the song.
That took side starts to come out.
But that's in his head. Yeah. And it's almost like a pseudo musical moment.
Yeah.
Of that song is what he's thinking.
The Hobbit's an adaptation of a musical that didn't exist.
There we go.
Oh, you are coming up with a lot of genius sayings today.
But a lot of things where I want to show a scene where there's a lot of heightened emotion where there normally wouldn't be.
Okay.
And it's typically a scene that I don't think in a movie it would be very simple and short.
Yeah.
And in a movie it just pulls out the heartstrings. And so this is from Carousel. And song basically of two people that really shouldn't be together. And they're from, now it's most romances is where, from two different parts of town, they shouldn't belong together.
Right.
And them trying to imagine what their life would be like.
How do you know what you'd do if you loved me? How you'd feel, or anything?
I don't know how I'd know, but I'd know how it'd be if I loved you.
But you don't.
No, I don't.
And right into her internal dialogue.
Somehow I can see just exactly how I'd be.
Great voice.
If I loved you, time and again I would try to say all I'd want you to know.
By the way, this is my favorite musical.
Carousel?
By and far.
I've yet to see it.
It's wonderful.
Come in an easy way, round in circles.
Also, nice thing with musical is typically the big song can basically describe the entire musical for you. Like, this is basically what the entire story is about in one song. And then you get to see.
Fascinating.
Yeah. But again, beating you over the head with the message.
I am so soothed right now. This is just a... She has a hypnotizing voice. That's so soothing.
I don't believe it's actually her, but
okay.
But the singer,
whoever's singing that, we should totally change our channel to just a reaction channel.
Oh, we should.
Just reacting to random things on the internet.
Reacting to musicals would be great.
Oh, that's great.
Well,
so now
anyway,
back to internal. So this is another perfect example of that, and typical movie without the music, all that would have been just a glance, which says, "No, I don't love you," and then looks, and then kind of sheep. Like, it'd all have to be done with the face, and it can it can be dramatic. You can kind of get it across. But don't you want the big musical number of her thoughts of like how she knows she would and how her story would be with him and how tragic it would be, but how it's worth it in the end. You get that whole scene.
Yeah.
Instead in a movie, you just get a glance.
Right.
No, yeah.
Just know all those feelings I would never feel for you.
Oh, I'm hoping so. That would make
No,
me
not
feel
even
awkward.
not even like not romantic / not even platonically.
Oh, just heightened emotions of some type.
Yes.
You're just generally apathetic.
Yes.
Okay. Just
Is it mutual?
no hate.
No.
It's not mutual because I sometimes get intense hate.
Damn, I should have thought of that. Nice. Okay, so Carousel, and this is your favorite musical. Why, must I ask?
Well, I was actually in a production of it for local community theater. And so ultimately the reason why it's my favorite is my memories from that.
Nostalgia. Yeah.
Nostalgia, but I also love the music. The music is my
That was great.
It's my favorite music from a musical. Like if you want to ask me about like the stories, maybe
Whoa. Blues Brothers? Did you just curse your favorite movie, Blues Brothers name? I'm clipping that.
That's not original music. Those are all it's songs from other things
Okay.
put together in there.
I'll let
not
yourself,
original music.
I'll let yourself with the out. All right.
But that is a great example. Blues Brothers is the perfect movie.
Oh, here we go.
And that's because it's a musical.
You're saying, so Carousel, you love it so much because you did a play as it when you were a kid. You love the music.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's the best music that has come from a musical. Maybe the next best argument is South Pacific. I think those two are kind of tied for top tier music from a musical.
Got it.
And so that's my personal opinion on it, but I love the songs. If I'm ever given like oh, you got to sing some dramatic song for some some audition.
Yeah.
This is the song I pick.
If I Loved You.
Yeah, this is the song I know. And I
yeah.
got it down. Like it's in the memory.
Nice.
Don't need to practice. I'm good. But I want to ask you a question.
Whoa, yeah.
What fantasy book do you think would best be adapted? Like the best medium it could be is a musical.
Oh, that's a question.
That's a hard
Which
question.
fantasy book
Fantasy book specifically.
would be great as a musical?
Yeah.
As I stall to repeat the question, I think a funny answer. Oh, Small Gods.
Yes. 100%.
That would be a fantastic musical.
It would be a fantastic musical.
Holy crap.
Can you imagine? Like, I'm thinking of the City Philosophers. That whole craziness
Yes.
and madness would be a wonderfully exciting musical number.
Oh, yeah. And think of the musical numbers with Vorbis and Ohm and Brother walking around.
There could be whole scenes where the people are like Brother and Vorbis are talking, and you have Ohm, kind of the turtle, just sitting on there, and Ohm's the only one singing because Brother only can hear him, and so you have scenes of where Brother talks to Vorbis and then sings to Ohm.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
Because it's kind of all internal in head.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Maybe a lot of Terry Pratchett's novels would work that way because of the absurdism.
And the whimsy.
Yeah.
What's a serious movie that you think could actually like benefit from that musical
A
treatment?
serious one.
A serious book. Like push it to the edge.
A serious fantasy novel that would
Yeah.
work as I stall more to repeat the question. Oh, good question. I'm going to toss out. You know what? Emperor's Soul is a serious novel that might work as a musical.
I think I would agree with you on that.
Because a lot of that is, think of a lot of the book is, what's the main character's name again? I'm so sorry.
Shoot.
This is what you love this book. I like the book
Shai?
a lot too. Yeah, is it Shai, right?
SHA.
So a
I'm
lot of
probably
the-
mispronouncing it. My apologies.
That came to mind just because she is inside a room most of the time, and most of the book is just her solving things and thinking things through in her head on how to solve things. So a musical could outwardly sing as she's coming up with solutions or thinking of a plan out and going forward. So
That's a great answer. It's a better answer than I could give.
thanks for the compliment. I'm gonna get the stuffed animal back. Let's put him on happy mode. Where's Red? Where's little Red down there? Oh, Come here, Red.
There we go.
Look at you go. Okay. Now, what about you? The question for you is, what serious one would work?
I gotta say, I didn't think about my own question far enough. But I would say Kings of the Wild. Kings of the Wild, if for people who don't know, is a Dungeons and Dragons inspired fantasy novel about getting the band back together. It's basically if Blues Brothers and Dungeons and Dragons was combined. It's fun. It has some serious moments, but it has so many good scenes for comedy and music.
Neat.
And seeing what's inside these old fuddy-duddies' heads.
Awesome.
So that'd be great.
That's fun.
Now, what would be the worst?
The worst.
What book would be absolutely ruined if it was a musical?
Stormlight Archive.
You think so?
Yeah. Just
you can't think of a great musical scene with Kaladin wanting to kill himself?
I could see something, no spoilers really, but like with Syl and Kaladin, I guess I could see something there. But it's just, my personal selfishness of wanting to see a serious adaptation of Stormlight. If it's a musical, I'd be pissed.
Can't you think like a really dramatic song as Kaladin is standing over the edge and giving a nice soliloquy on his life?
If I loved you, if I loved myself, if I did, I wouldn't jump off the edge. Actually, I'm being convinced now.
No, there's actually quite a few. Like, you already have things like Harry Potter. You have Lion King. I mean, Lion King's a great example of, like, it's a fantastic musical.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I mean,
10 out of 10.
Movie, yeah, I mean...
No, 10 out of 10 music and cinematography.
The movie already was a musical, but, like, stage production is fantastic as well. But also...
Well, hold on. You got to answer that now, too.
Oh, what would be the worst? I do have an answer. And it's more of a joke answer, and I have a clip to show you. This is the last clip.
Oh,
here.
No.
From the west she appeared, sunlight and stars in her hair.
What? The Lord of the Rings musical.
Memory of home, a land that is magical and fair.
Ooh, kind of slaps, to be honest.
I'll be honest, it's mostly the imagery.
Yeah.
The imagery is weird.
The imagery is weird, but just listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you doing on two ropes like that? What are you doing on a swing set? Music's great, but don't Disney-fy Lord of the Rings, please.
Don't you want to see the entire Lord of the Rings musical production?
Oh, yeah, of course. I do really want to see they have the Lord of the Rings symphony, or the symphony goes around and plays with the movie in the background.
Yeah.
That is a bucket list item to do. Oh, what is this?
Can't you tell?
Galadriel? Who is that?
Yeah.
Is it Galadriel?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Imagery-wise.
Imagery, the only thing that would have made
funny.
that worse is just in the little corner you see Timothy like peeking his head out, and then that would have made it awful. But this is acceptable, I guess.
Now, I think that's about it. Any other thoughts you're thinking? Like, I know ultimately this is a more just silly thought that I wanted to express, but any nugget of truth.
I think there's nugget of truth, a lot of that in there. The best argument or the best idea you have here is that dinner scene from Dune. Yeah. That convinced me that you have a point. And there's can we end this with something that means a lot to me?
Sure.
I love La La Land.
Oh yeah.
We're already getting demonetized.
Oh yeah, why not?
Want to play like City of Stars? I love Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
I had it pulled up and I just thought it was too many clips, but I already have it pulled up.
Look, let's just sing. Let's just let them sing. City. Oh yeah, a lovely night scene.
Suggestion.
Here we go.
You're a real
What a lovely scene.
I'm looking for.
Look at the cinematography.
Weirdo.
I mean, look at Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
What a man.
The color as well, the yellow on Emma Stone.
He just has Kenergy.
Not much to look at.
You're Knuff.
You are Knuff.
Here we go. Here we go.
The sun is nearly gone. The lights are turning on. A silver shine that stretches to the sea. We stumbled on a view.
This is a fantasy book channel, right?
Yeah, this is fantasy book channel.
This is ideal.
All right, you know, we're just gonna watch La La Land now, and we'll see you guys later. See you next week.
See you next week, everybody.
Bye bye.
City of Stars. Oh, Ryan, what a guy. What a guy.
But there's only you and I, and we've got no shot. This could never be. You're not the type for me.
Screw you, Timothy!